Welcome back, everybody, for, unfortunately, the last time, not only tonight, but in this regular season at the Post eSports Masters Season 5. Rostana, I believe you're still here with me.
Always.
Always by my side. Which champion says that? Not us, not you, but something else.
Braum? I don't know.
No, almost.
He would say it.
Yasuo says that.
Yes?
And I don't think it's...
Crazy.
Is it the blade or the wind? I think it's wind, always by my side.
Okay.
Either way, really. Okay. I'm being told Shen. I think maybe. One champion says that. Well, it doesn't matter who. I said that as well. No, I didn't say that. You said that.
Yes.
Confusion. Stop talking in the chat here, Regie. You're just confusing me. Kristana says that about himself.
That's right. No. It's actually Yasuo, but he says but he says death is like the wind, always by my side.
Oh, okay. So there was wind, no blade, death. I was close enough. I win.
Yeah.
Boom, easy. Talking about winning, we have the very final game of the regular season. Royal Family versus Stabil. Royal Family still undefeated. 9 wins under their belt. Is Stabil solid enough on their feet? I was gonna make a pun, and no pun came to my mind. I had plenty of time to prepare a pun, and I didn't. Will Stabil be able to dethrone them? That's the big question of tonight.
That's a good question, and I'm really hyped because even though you don't see the draft yet, I saw the draft beforehand, and it looks so spicy.
Well,
of course,
talking about it, here we go.
Of course, we will see now the draft now, but there are some banger picks.
some banger
really
picks.
Banger picks, and I think it's fair to say that one of those teams, at least. Maybe they will probably still try out, but maybe thinks, it's fine. Whatever we pick, it's fine.
Well, I think Royal Family definitely, we've seen it. I'm not gonna say that their gameplay degenerated over the course of the days, but the more their position got sure, the more they started to look and play these. Well, I love the way you said it always, bloody games where they just.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just gonna take this fight. Let's go. Let's see where it goes. We still win in the end, of course, because we're goddamn Royal Family. But I can't wait to see their final match. I'm sure they prepared a banger, and I'm sure Stabil as well, because, I mean, if they were to be, in the end, the team to defeat Royal Family, that'd be one hell of a statement.
Yeah, I mean, and Stabil always had some really good games, had some decent games, had some not bad games, but of course they lost some rounds, right? And especially Rampage GG for me, one of those recurring strong players, Slakers, of course, and even a trigger heavy. And I'm a Maxax. I mean, I'm Maxax for me on his own usually with pretty decent games. So I think Stabil on a good day, on a bad day of Royal Fam. There are chances, you could say. There are definitely chances. And I mean, some of those plans are classics, so we don't need to talk about them, especially Ash and Smaller against Rampage GG. And of course, Dance, Traven, and we already talked about really 100% win rate on BBF, right? So, yeah. Not too fancy those picks yet, but Asriel and Nidalee poke comp against Varus, who could also opt in for poke, right? But the banger pick will come next. It's so cool. I mean, they see the jungler and they decide to just pick the pony. Just run it down mid lane. I mean, that's so crazy.
The pony. Alright, we're starting. They're just going for the full menagerie. They're like, we've got the half goat, you've got the cat lady. Well, we take the horse and the fish. Let's just go all in. This is gonna be a zoo.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. And that's Braum. I mean, I love Braum, and especially against Varus ult, against Nami, Tidal Wave.
Yeah.
You have plenty of opportunity with this Braum to just deny some spells. And especially in those poke scenarios with a Nidalee Nocturne, just having Braum in front of you keeps the poke champions alive, you could say. And Hecarim is kind of one-sided. He just runs in, and then you CC him, and he's maybe dead. So I really like this pawn pick, actually. Maybe struggles against Nami in lane, but besides that, I think that's a pretty solid setup at the moment for Stabil.
It works also quite well with the Ezreal, right? I mean, Ezreal's got some ways of proccing the passive as well, so that's also always to take in consideration in that lane.
Yeah, true. And now they actually decide for mid lane Tristana here, which is an interesting pick, especially as a blind pick, because usually you want to pick it against mages, because then you can go for prior and stuff. And because it's a blind pick Tristana, of course, there is some room of counter picks and some room of ideas. And one of them, I love it. It's just a set in the mid lane. And there's an ADC and you are an assassin. So it's the perfect pairing for some quick and dirty 1v1s. And the Mordekaiser, I mean, it's still an Axo pick, you couldn't say. But maybe it's one of the least Axo-ish picks. I mean, with Yorick and Nasus and Darius. In Mordekaiser is still an Axo one, but it's like not the craziest pick we ever saw from him. But still, it's a cool blind pick, and Maxax goes for the Yone as a slight counter, of course. He can definitely pressure the Mordekaiser in the early game. Both champions can go for those 1v1s. So I really like the draft of Stabil, but I also enjoy those really cool picks with Hecarim and with Zed.
Yeah. I think it's really cool. I have to say, I like the Tristana pick because Axton Joe did already show this Tristana a few times. And this is what warranted him to be nominated for MVP even last week or the week before. True. He had a really strong performance on there. Of course, against the Zed, still, yeah, it's an iffy matchup. But I think if they go for the blind pick, he's pretty confident in his Tristana mid lane that he's going to manage it no matter what comes. Especially since the buns they've had, I guess Cassio would also be annoying to play against as a Tristana, albeit being a mage just because of the grounded. But then they still ban the top lane after all, and not something that could counter the Tristana in the end.
Yeah. And yeah, it's really, especially in the early game, hard for the set. So Tristana should definitely out damage in there. Can always go for those all-ins if he uses the shadow. So and she probably has a little bit more wave clear with those bombs and just with the AoE auto attacks. So Zed will have a tough time, I guess, especially range versus melee. And then of course he cannot really go roaming if he gets pushed in, right? So I think Tristana still will work, but later on you get ulted. You get one shot. You picked an ADC into mid lane, into assassin country, you know? It's just like goes a horse in a bar. It's just not the best place for the horse, right?
No, I have to agree. And we'll see how he fares on that pick here as we're headed into the Summoner's Rift, dear spectators, for the very final game of the regular season here at the PostTV eSports Masters. I present to you Royal Family on the blue side going up against Stabil on the red side.
Let's go. Slickers Nidalee. I'm really hyped about this jungle matchup actually. Nidalee, Hecarim, not something you see every time in competitive. Both really strong in those skirmishes, both really annoying to play against, so everything can happen there. And oh man, I think that's definitely one of the games. I mean, it's the last game of the regular season, right? And they present us with a banger.
Yeah, definitely. I think we can expect some nice fun things here. Already a bit of damage falling onto Valyrian here. Of course, nothing dramatic. Should come back in time, huh?
Yeah, definitely. And they at least got this early ward. You can see it on the red buff. So they have some amount of information about Slaycast, which is important because Nidalee is one of those annoying invade champions who just tries to 1v1 you. And of course, the whole reasoning behind that is she has no ult, and she has like 6 spells, while other champions just has 3, right? So that's the reason why she usually is stronger in those 1v1s, at least if she plays the cooldowns right.
Yeah, definitely needs to. It's the thing, you need to play those cooldown rights, you need to play the champion, right? I think Nidalee is always a bit of a gamble, I would say, because it can be really strong, but it can also be very fatal if poorly executed. Usually, in this level of play, people who pick a champ like Nidalee know what they're doing.
Hopefully, that should be the plan. But yeah, of course. And Slaker's probably no stranger to Nidalee, so we might see something from him. At the moment, Hikaram just a tiny bit faster. You can already see he was finishing the birdies way before Nidalee. So just a little faster clear speed with his Q, with the more AoE spells. Of course, can clear, especially like the bird camp, really good. So that's why he can maybe take off a little bit faster. And you already see that both junglers kind of start on different sides, which means that we maybe see a top lane gank and a bot lane gank as a cross map play, for example, or maybe one side decides to not gank and just go for full clear into resets and stuff. So they just will not hit each other, which means that we might see some action or just 2 full clears and nothing happens.
It looks like a Valyrian is setting pace towards Slaker's. Yeah, no. But he was maybe gonna look out for the Raps. He probably saw that they're done. Both going at the Scuttle Grab, X and Joe going for some decent perk in here. Nothing much. Careful mid lane, Valyrian is trying to come in, knowing that Axon Joe doesn't have to rocket jump, but doesn't seem to find purchase as I look at a minimap. However, Slake is on the bot lane, is coming in, stun does not land, no, does land on Dan. Here comes also a spear. Who's going to be the first blood? It's a Dan, and it goes in the pocket of a Rampage GG as Sunrim now is forced to fall back, but does not survive the Azrael Q here.
I thought for a moment that Valyrian was sitting in a brush, but he wasn't. I expected this instant counter gank, but then I spotted him in the river and thought, well, how did he land there? Anyway, crazy, good gank there actually, and in the end worked out for him. Just 2 quick and dirty kills for Rampage GG, and like I said, for me, he is maybe the main carry of this team. He is the big boy in the class. Right, and he with 2 kills can definitely do something, and we already see this mid lane pressure of this Tristana. Every time you see that Zed use his shadow, she will just jump in, because then she doesn't need to fear any all-in from him. So at the moment, Xantro does it correctly, but, and that's also something I want to mention, he is ahead in CS even though it's range versus melee.
The bubble here on the bot lane. He's able to get away. Yeah, I think that's actually really well played from Hoops. Top lane, quick tower dive. Maxax gets a lot of damage here from the turret, but Slakers can finish off the kill, taking 2 turret shots. In the end, that's still a kill. Axo out of the equation for a few seconds is always nice to see for the enemy top laner.
And Axo playing with Ignite, by the way. I didn't see it at the start, so he just went full solo carry sideline mode. On the meantime, X and Joe just teleporting back to mid lane, pressuring in the Zed. Now Zed teleports to mid lane back, as of course more farm, so just a slightly better starting item with the Tiamat against those boots. But boots, of course, especially in such a matchup, really important. In the meantime, Void Crabs get taken down by Valyrian, so 3 kills to 0, but 3 Void Crops to 0 as well.
Yes, and indeed. Things are kind of equalizing. I think at this stage of the game you make a bit more of this gold lead. Careful if you want a bot lane here. I think the bubble here is dodged. Slake is just around the corner as well. And what I want to say about the Tristana Zed matchup at some point, because you mentioned it, Zed uses W, Joe uses that to do what he wants to do, set the pace in the lane in the end at that point. As been with Zed, in the end, I think is a very one-dimensional assassin. Like, he does one thing really well, but it's very predictable, and if you just know the matchup, you're still gonna have an okay time. Yes, he's currently ahead in CS, so he still is handling the lane really well, but he's not completely destroying Joe here, because Joe seems to know at least how he should handle this matchup.
He missed a cannon there. Yeah, of course. I mean, Tristana usually is pretty safe. She can always jump away if she gets ulted. The biggest part about set all-ins are that there are 3 shadow clones and all of them throwing those shurikens, right? So you need to dodge the shurikens to deny a lot of damage. And if you just jump...
We're in a bit of a situation. Basil from Maxax is out, so is the Shadow Onslaught. Slakers is in 1v1 with Valyrian right now, because we have the Realm of the Dead being popped onto Maxax, and Slakers is forced to fall back here a bit as Axo comes in, or out rather, of his own ultimate. You have to be careful, however, because one good spear could me in the end for one of them. Here comes the hook. Slakers is forced to jump away as Trigger Happy joins in, but I think the situation is not going to be developed further here.
Yeah, there's the shadow and no jump in, but jump in would be crucial again.
He jumps in from behind, and now Joe can get away with the rocket jump. Axo stayed a bit long here, and Trigger Happy and Slakers were able to collect back their resources. Careful with the hook, and the Ignite on Slakers is a bit dangerous. He's ticking low, dodges that Q here. One good spear, and that's a kill confirmed for the Nidalee player.
With 2 HP or something, Slakers is actually surviving in the end. Axo just a little bit overstaying there, but it's fine for him. He still had more CS, and of course he got this 1 assist, which definitely helps him being not too far away from Iron Maxax, and he of course did not get the kill, so they are pretty even, probably still in the end. But this Nidalee, 2, 0 and 2, together with Rampage GG with 2 and 0, those 2 poke champions, if they get the lead, that looks really, really decent for Stabil already. So we might see a surprise, who knows? But of course, there's still the set, and I mean, set with the perfect farm in a counter match. Of course, he picked it into the Tristana, but still it's lane, it's a melee versus range. But he still out farms, so I think that's an incredible performance right now.
It's definitely nothing to be scoffed at. I mean, players of Royal Family definitely individually in the league seem to be the best in every single position. Even if some other singular cases do get very close, Royal Family has shown time and time again that they are number 1 of First Division for a good reason. But Stabil right now off to a good start. Let's not curse them as the casters that we are. Gold lead, a first Drake. We have Glacial Fish here on to Dan. Does not find proper purchase, but Slake is from behind to just force him away from the turret. Unfortunately, the kill goes to Trigger Happy, but still taking Dan out of the equation lets them get some platings. In the meantime, Valyrian does a good reaction, goes up and takes the next few Void Crowns.
Yeah, that's a good cross-map play there. And it took a lot of time just to get 1 kill on Prom, sadly. So, but they deny some CS from Dan, and it's something we see time and time again, that those teams just try to deny Dan, but in the end, Royal Fam always wins and Dan always gets back into it. So at the moment, this tactic didn't work well for most teams. And then, of course, is no stranger to start 0-2, 2-0, 0-2. But in the end, he always comes on top. Or now on Maxax maybe in danger.
Yes, he is in the realm of the dead, and now Valyrian comes in, gets out with the failed seals here. Very nice. Trigger happy. Joe and Slake is just around the corner. Just to put some pressure. If Slake is spears, there is maybe a nice window here to find a little kill or something.
Or they will try to, at least to kill Axo. He has no ultimate.
Going on to him, it's a tower dive that's going on. Very nice onslaught of shadows coming out from Valyrian. It's not enough to save his teammate now as they throw the turret aggro around to maybe get the kill on Valyrian. Flakes is able to pick it up. That's a double kill for the Nidalee and a wonderfully executed tower dive here.
Yeah, they juggle the turret aggro so well that in the end nobody dies, even in such a tower dive. In the end, they lose the first turret actually bot lane, and now might even drop some turret like mid lane, but what a turret dive. And just think about it, they have so much tools, but then especially this tower juggling from this team just works out in the end perfectly, and that no tower shot in the end kills Slaker is really lucky. One minion somehow survived and tanked the last turret shot. That's really crazy, and it's 1-7. I think it could be the biggest kill lead a team ever had against Rolfam. 6 kills in the lead. I don't know if that ever happened, but Rolfam still had a gold, even though it's just 100. It's still a gold lead.
Yes, I mean, it's definitely quite impressive what Stabil is giving us right now. Overall, they're playing this really well. I mean, they only suffered 1 death, and it's not like they're being passive in this game. They're being super proactive. They did a super risky tower dive, nobody died. It's really impressive what they're giving us right now, especially when you consider they're going up against the currently undefeated first place of this first division here at the PostTV eSports Masters.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't even say that Zed and Hikrim maybe are those for fun picks, but they are kinda working at the moment. Meanwhile, the other picks don't get the big lead like they usually do. Lakers now get invaded.
Oh, what happened here? Got interrupted while jumping over the wall. Gets bubbled once he gets over the wall. Joe against Rikup on the bot lane. Meanwhile, is getting really low and dies at the hands of the Z player. Unfortunately, there. That's the second kill going to Royal Family in this game.
Yeah, he just didn't have it, and like I said, it's in range. It's an assassin versus ADC, and there was even a item advantage. The full Hydra against just some components, so even a big power spike there for the set, and Tristana just not having the damage to really fight it back in the end.
Playing classic 1v1 situation. Rift Herald being picked up by Valyrian, who albeit the quick pace that or the pressure that Stabil is putting around the map doesn't let himself be faced by that. Still takes those really important objectives on the top side of the map, which is currently the stronger side, because this bot lane, Rampage GG being 2-0 in a really good position here, definitely is a threat.
Yeah, he can do a lot. He even has his first item ready, and those top lane 1v1s don't go in the favor of Iron Maxax. Mordecai is at the moment just too strong. Maybe that will shift after 1 or 2 items, but at the moment Axo Bad Boy just playing this matchup on perfection and just getting better trades out of it.
That's what's so impressive with Mordecai is always just so dangerous. I'd say that's a good champion design. He's still dangerous, even when he doesn't have a clear lead here on this lane.
Yeah, and I mean, you talked about Rampage GG at the moment with his first item with the 2 and 0, but just look at Slakers 4 and 0 and 3 being able to help at every single kill, so 100% kill participation, having Lich Bane already. So this cat actually deals some crazy damage if she lands those spears and can jump in, because Lich Bane, of course, just triggering if she uses is in melee mode or even range mode, but needs to auto attack for that. So with that, it's really important to land a spear, jump in, get the auto attack done. And now there could be a top lane play Herald got summoned at least from sounds, and there's a charge. And now Royal Fam with 4 members try to take on this turret, but they don't have the damage yet. Xen Joe actually losing a 1v1 right now. He is really low against the death mark.
Has to be careful without the wave. Who is forced to fall back a bit. This gives him breathing room. He can back. It's joined by Trigger Happy, but in the meantime, tier 1 on the top lane finally falls here. This is what Royal Family wanted, and they got it.
Yeah, well played by them. Just securing another one. And now all 3 tier 1 turrets fall to dust. And that's the reason why they have a small gold lead, of course, even though they are missing those kills. But it's just like this clean gameplay from Royal Fam, which gives them the edge.
We have the 1-1 top lane, doesn't end in a kill, but this time around looks really good for Maxax, who's able to put a solid dent into Axo's armor here. It's good, this forces him to back. Axo does not have TP. He's taking this opportunity to push himself and maybe take that tier 1. Just shoved the wave and Axo does not back in the end.
Yeah, I mean, he even has the Fate Seal, so he could even look for a 1v1 there.
True.
But he didn't really want to. Kind of playing it more safely, maybe even wanting to use the ultimate as a defensive tool if he gets engaged by Valerian, for example, in a gang situation.
Let's not forget, Drake is about to spawn also. Glacier Fisher does not hit down here. We have the spear coming in to the side. Drake is gonna spawn. It could be a soul point if Stabil picks it up. But Valerian is already on the case. This would be quite dangerous, I think, to try, because XNJ is not quite in a position yet to help out. Axax picks up tier 1 on the top lane as Axo moved towards that Drake in the fear of Stabil contesting it, but they did not, and it goes to Royal Family.
Yeah, but in the meantime, at least they get this top lane turret right. So
yeah,
there was a cross map play, and one Cloud Drake will not win you or lose you the game. So they just did not want to take a risk in a teamfight scenario, but rather just wanted to swap 2 objectives, and in the end just trying to get Maxax a little bit bigger and stronger. So at the moment I really like what Stabil is doing. They give their best to actually win it, and even though they are behind, even though it's still Royal Fam, they're still undefeated, it's maybe one of the best games to beat Royal Fam, in a small margin. I mean, no team ever challenged Royal Fam that hard like Stabil at the moment are doing it.
Yes, but now comes the pivotal moment, because in those really bloody games, it isn't actually this much of a bloody game, really, from Royal Family compared to the other ones which we have deemed to be bloody. But this is, in terms of fighting capabilities, really Stabil showing that they can show up at a very good level, head up against Royal Family. But here comes the pivotal moment, because this is usually where the situation turns around, even in those bloody fights, where Royal Family says, okay, we're entering the mid-game, this is what we excel at, be careful now, let's see how Stabil fares from now on.
Yeah, and with that, minute 20 got reached, so technically Baron is up. I don't think that any of those 2 teams is really
oh, careful, Trigger Happy gets engaged here, but thanks to the blast code is able to get back towards the Lakers, but that's a good opportunity for Valerian to get onto him, but Maxax from behind puts the damage out on Dan as he finds Purchase, should be taking down the 80 carry here with that for Royal Family. Trigger Happy is next to fall, but it's just a support. Things are looking good as now we have Rukup Sufu joining in, going all in onto Slakers, takes down one of the main damage dealers of Stabil. Ravage gets shut down by Axo in the realm of that, and Royal Family takes control of this fight with this.
It's in the end a 2-4-3. It looked better than in the end, because, I mean, just look at the Valerian, for example. He is pretty low, so could have been a 3-4-3. Especially that Slakers survived this engage by the Valerian, helped a lot. Now we see it again. He got full engaged, but in the end could flash out, especially Maxak did a great job there by killing Dan, which was important. But Dan, Rampage GG in the 1v1 against Axo, of course, cannot really win it, and Zed, of course, can win the 1v1 against Nidalee. So it was a little bit like a stretched out fight, a lot of 1v1s, not the scenario that you want.
Yeah, definitely. And this is where, yeah, Royal Family now start to pick up a slight gold lead. 1k gold, of course, not much. Stabil also still has this one Drake margin. Speak for themselves. You have the Void Grubs on sides of Royal Family. So it's still a very, very even game. And most definitely best shot anyone's had up to now against Royal Family.
Yeah, this is 1v1 again. And looks kind of good at the beginning and even at the end. I mean, that's a statement. Just solo killing here on this at Tristana, even though he almost lost some 1v1s. So, and he is even an item behind, even like 1.5 item, right? Because there's still somehow set is almost 3 items, while Tristana just almost 2. So there's still a big gap, but he still wins this 1v1. And now Maxax needs to get out Fate Seal, Flash, everything is up. And with the ultimate, he is just out of them.
Yes. That's huge, but that's a very strong ultimate, especially in such a enclosed space as this Baron Pit. So this is also quite good to take for Royal Family as they kind of agglomerate in this Baronish area around the mid lane. It is the next big objective on the map, but if time goes on, we might also have the Drake to play for, and teams will have 2 levels to push here.
Yeah, I mean, you have Tristana, you have Ezreal, you have Nidalee, so you have this poke comp. They just need to land it. They just need those spears to land, those Ezreal Qs to land, because then they can probably win a team fight. But if they just get hard engaged in a 5v5, they are probably a little bit weaker, because the team comp is just not a hard engage comp. But now the Drake got started, but also the Baron. And Rodrigo even stops the Drake now, runs top lane. Teleport comes from behind. Oh, that could be the big flip.
From behind, the Baron is getting really low, but you have to be careful. We have Liren going in with the Onslaught of Shadow. Sherman is first to fall because Stabil goes for the fight instead of going for the Baron, but things are starting to look up really good for them as they take down almost all of Royal Family. Axo, who was in the realm of the dead, is the sole survivor here. 1v5 as they keep the push going. They did not get the Baron, but they got 4 men down for Royal Family.
Yeah, this Baron buff just on Axo isn't really that big, especially if you lose 4 kills, turret and a Drake. So that was a big turning point for Stabil in this game, and it just worked out. They baited Royal Fam in a bad position just to engage on those squishy targets, and with that they are maybe not in the gold lead right yet, but they have definitely a really good lead in just total map play with those 3 Drakes, with just team fight win in their bags. It must feel insane for them right now.
Here we can look back at the situation and we see really well. Hugusufu is a bit late to the fight, joins Valerian to finish off the Baron, but it's too late at that point. There is already key members of Royal Family that are down. You gotta give it to Stabil. They played this wonderfully, as you said, baited them in. And it seems like this is definitely just what they wanted to do, and it went perfectly according to their plan.
And this time, Dan 0-4 and just instantly getting deleted at the Baron, just having a really tough game right now. And especially with on this auto attack Varus build, he doesn't really have a lot of frontline champions to auto attack, so maybe the penetration Varus as just a poke tool would have been maybe the stronger item composition. I don't know, because at the moment he just gets jumped on and gets deleted. He isn't really in the driver's seat, and nobody is really playing for him because of course Axo in the Shadow Realm, and then Ikram and Zed just jumping in. So nobody is really peeling. He has no front line. So maybe the penetration Varus would have been the play for Dan.
Yeah, and play this kind of stay at the distance because, as you said, Stabil just gets onto him. And they have, I mean, all of Stabil's champions, except for the Brom, have tools to go in when they want. Here we have the purchase on Slakers coming in from Valerian. Slakers a bit taken aback here, is forced to fall back, is able to survive thanks to his team as Axton Joe joins up with Trigger Happy. We have the TPs coming in at the mid lane. Axton Joe on the killing spree as he takes out Shunrim. Decides to go on the side, let the rest of his team do the thing. Slakers comes back in, now back to mid life. He's gonna take down the Z player of Royal Family. Axo Bad Boy just out of the Shadow Realm, is gonna try to get away, but Axton Joe is right behind him, stays at a beautiful range. They get the stun out, and that's an ace for Stabil.
And it's not only an ace, it's a clean ace. That did not lose a single member, 5-0, and I don't believe that ever happened before. I think Royal Fam maybe got aced one time, but never clean aced in a 5v5 team fight, which means Stabil actually at the brink of winning this game. They just push in waves. No, they just got so much gold out of the situation. They now actually have the gold lead on their side, so now they can take down bot lane turret, maybe even top lane turret, even though that's greedy. So even with a teleport play, they actually want to kill Axton and Joe.
Yeah, definitely want that shutdown money. Rukum Super finds purchase with the death mark. We have the clans coming out, but the shutdown is there. And that's some money in their pocket, but man, I'm just baffled. Look, they sent everybody for that shutdown, and Stabil can now take tier 2 on the bot lane, so it's not even that big of a loss. There's still a whole 4k gold ahead. I don't think anybody's had this much of a gold lead, if any at all, really, versus Royal Family yet.
And this whole engage onto Slacker, he just is not dying. I mean, look at those heals, look at those shields, and it was not enough for Hecarim to actually kill him. Then, of course, Dan just dying against Rampage GG, and not only the Z could kill Rampage GG there in the end, even flashing on Pro, don't killing him. So that was really a crazy team fight actually by Stabil, and in the end it all works out flawlessly for them. What a team fight from Stabil.
Yes, quite the insane performance they're giving us. Quite the show both teams are giving us right now for the very final match. It's almost like it was predestined to happen. Somebody topples down maybe Royal Family in this last match, because things are looking really good for Stabil right now.
No, but it's still not over. It's just 4k gold after 29 minutes, and they see the set now. They know there's something at least. So this trap probably will not work out for Royal Fam.
Yeah, they get Trigger Happy. That's not the one you want, because the rest of the team can just follow up onto this Glacial Fisher right now. Max is going to the backline. There's lots of damage already falling on Royal Family's roster now. Meanwhile, Stabil, they're still looking so healthy. Axel uses the Zhonya's as the first to fall here. Look at that. Axel Joe says, I'm going in. Pushes Shunrim away. Royal Family almost all mid-life, while Stabil just take the soul here.
And I think someone, at least at Stabil, wants the MVP of this week. Just by winning against Royal Family, I think that automatically will give them MVP, at least, in my opinion. I mean, it's still not over. Meantime, as Lakers just solo killing Shunrim there, and there is still hope, there's still Valerian.
Valerian goes and gets the Baron Steel, dies unfortunately, but this is still quite important. Unfortunately, however, Stabil follows up with another clean ace.
Yeah, crazy what they do right now, and this is maybe the game we need, because I said it countless times, but first of all, a replay of this glorious Baron Steel from Valerian. He's just clean, but clean isn't enough in this game, and not even then killing Rampage GG there. Like I said, Royal Fam is a really overconfident team sometimes, and if you can punish that, then you might have a chance to win against them, and that's exactly what we see in this game.
After ace
on Max Sax.
And Stabil topples down Royal Family from their pedestal as they take a loss and the streets run red with their blood. What a game!
What a game, indeed. It will change nothing in terms of the standings, but it's the flawless run, the ultimate, we won everything is denied because they lost one game in the normal split. And it shows, especially Waze and Snooze, that Royal Fam is beatable. I think that's also important to know. Even though, I mean, it was a fun draft, Tikaram said probably we will not see that again from Royal Fam, but still, with those overconfident picks, with this, yeah, we will win anyway, and then they got challenged, I think that's the only way. Just challenge them if Royal Fam feels themselves confident and try to tackle them. Try to somehow find a prick in the wall and take it down. And that's exactly what Stabil did.
Yeah, and they did so really, really well. Because it still is an impressive feat to defeat the unbeaten team of the season. Whether they had fun picks or not, it was still a very, very clean game from them. You gotta just admit that they played this properly. They took risky fights at the start that really paid off well, and then when things started to look a bit dire, they played it safe and were able to, from that position, get back in control of the game. Just huge GGs to Stabil for this performance.
Yeah, and I mean, in the end, they placed fourth. So we will see them maybe next post eSports Masters, of course, in the Division 1. But they sadly did not make playoffs. And of course, they did not make relegation, which is good for them. And after such a win, I would have liked to see more games of them, because maybe that could be the turning point. If they beat Royal Fam, the world is yours, right? They maybe can take down other teams as well. So there would have been maybe a way for Stabil to get into playoffs, but this time it wasn't enough.
Yeah, unfortunately not. But they are definitely showing promise, and if I recall from their interview, they seemed motivated to keep going on this sort of spree of playing together and keep at it. And if you can recall a bit way back when, do you know Relion? They weren't a set organization, but then they made an ASBL, and I really hope to see more of Stabil, for them to say, okay, actually, it was quite fun, and we had a rather good shot at it, finish up fourth of the regular season. Let's do this, let's keep at it, and let's try to maybe come back even stronger for the next season. Now, maybe we can take a look at the finalized leaderboards of this regular season here on Division 1, as we now have the final scores. And there you have it, dear spectators. 9-1 Royal Family in the very last game of the regular season, toppled down by Stabil, are not here with the 10-0. Followed up by Vase eSports with a 7-3 and Snooze eSports with a 6-4, who will be duking it out against each other in order to see who faces Royal Family eSports in the grand finals later this year.
Yeah, and then of course we have a Stabil with 5-5. They have the win against Royal Fam, so really impressive. And then Red Lions with maybe the second biggest upset in our post eSports Masters season 5, because they won against Snooze, of course, and then hit Hitmonlee with at least one win against Red Lions. So nobody went winless, nobody went defeatless. I think that's really cool to see in such a league. And yeah, there are some great games coming up, especially the relegation, especially playoffs. So there's still some games to watch, but the normal season is over with that.
Yeah, and talking about relegations, maybe we can take another look at the Division 2 leaderboards, because you've mentioned it. We have Red Lions and Hitmonlee who will be playing relegations against a team of 2nd Division. Currently, Rift Drivers is for sure gonna play those. They are currently going 8-1 in the first spot. What is not sure is the 2nd position, with UDO, Union des Ombres eSports, being 7-3. They're locked in place. However, Rely on eSports still have one game ahead against Rift Riders. If they're able to beat the current leader of their division, they could climb up to second spot. I am not sure about the head-to-head count, but if I recall correctly, I heard that they should win that head-to-head against Union des Sports, des Ombres eSports. So everything is still open on that front. Those two teams, first and second, whoever in the end is going to end up second of this division, will be playing against Red Alliance and Hitmonlee next week, and 2 best-of-5 series, which will be broadcasted here on the Post eSports Masters Twitch channel on a Tuesday and on Thursday 7 p.m, just like it is for this. And that will unfortunately not be with you, Freshtana. I'm so saddened to have to say that, but we will of course see you back later in the year for the finals, hopefully. But next week we will be joined by people from Nocturnal, who have so diligently followed and broadcasted quite a few of the Division 2 broadcasts. Big thanks to them, and big shout out to them, of course, for doing so.
Yeah, perfect. And
now,
with that, let's wrap it up.
Yes. Before we end it for this regular season, I will be thanking you, first of all, Freshtana, for being here for every single live stream. It was a pleasure casting this regular season with you, of course.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, of course. Thank you for all of them in the regie, because without them I wouldn't be here. So it was me a pleasure, of course, and I'd love to cast it. And I will be back at the offline event, so that will be a banger, of course.
Yes, of course. Now, I would also, in the name of the Post eSports Masters, I would like to thank our sponsors, Samsung, Kia, and Plume. Last but not least, before I leave for tonight, I would like to give also a big thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you all next week for the relegation matches.